Hi everyone! Welcome to my first Japanese related video. I know the name of this channel is Korean with Kat, and uh most of my videos, almost all of my videos have been about Korean. I actually wanted to start sharing a little bit of my Japanese learning journey with you guys, as I've been taking Japanese quite seriously the past few months, so I thought that it was time to make a video and kind of introduce you guys to my Japanese study life. First, I just want to give you guys a little bit of history about my Japanese studying. I actually started studying Japanese in 2018 in November. I still lived in Canada at the time, and I basically started with just learning hiragana and katakana. I kind of dabbled a little bit in grammar, just kind of like basic stuff like 私はKatherine desu, like this. And it kind of didn't go any further from there. I kind of lost the motivation as I was planning my move to Korea. I was focusing on learning Korean, and I was also still a university student. So that's kind of why it fell off from there. Another thing is that at that point, I had only been learning Korean for 9-10 months, so my Korean was a little bit weak, and I kept mixing up vocabulary and grammar, and it was kind of really getting mixed up in my head. So I put Japanese on hold and focused on my Korean. Fast forward to November 2019, I was in Korea. I went to a Korean bookstore and I found some resources in Korean for Japanese. So I said, oh, okay, like my Korean level is strong enough now. Let me try and learn Japanese through Korean, so that way I'm studying both. And that was really fun. I did get a little further in the grammar, and I was progressing kind of nicely. I started to learn some kanji and just continued on from there. But again, working full time, my Korean still wasn't the strongest. I found that I was actually looking up more words in Korean in those books, because I didn't know like the word for like noun, the word for all these like linguistic terms. I didn't know them in Korean, so actually I found that it was actually kind of studying Korean a little bit more in that method than I was studying Japanese. However, I then took a trip to Japan. I went to Osaka and Kyoto for 4 days, and when I came back, I was so trip hungover, and I kind of didn't want to study Japanese because that was the February that Mr. Corona made its way into Korea, and the idea of being able to visit Japan again was quickly crushed. Because of this, I was very demotivated for Japanese. So again, November 2021, I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna dabble with Japanese and see what I can do, see if I still like it. I still had some Korean or Japanese resources, so I was like, okay, let's just look. And then I went into the mindset of it that, okay, this is just a fun language. I'm not gonna push myself. I'm just gonna dabble here and there when I feel like it. And then I actually really enjoyed it. I realized that, okay, now might be the time for me to learn Japanese. So I looked for some resources. I know some people say you don't need textbooks to learn languages, and that's true, but I learn better as a beginner if I have a guided course. And then as I get more comfortable with the language, I can kind of like continue on and find my own way. So now I'm gonna tell you guys about what I've been doing, how I've been studying, and what I've been using. So let's go. So first, I'm gonna show you guys the books that I got for Japanese. So I decided I'm not going to overwhelm myself with resources like I did in Korean. In Korean, I just bought and bought and bought and bought, and like I have like a million resources. But for Japanese, I decided that I'm just going to have two grammar resources, one as a main source and one as a review source. Two vocab, one for kanji and then one for just vocabulary, and then three like graded reader type things. So let's start with the vocabulary. The first one I have is the one that I'm using the most right now, and that's the I realize I don't know the Japanese names. I'll write them in like a caption here, like the romaji, so you can find them. It's just Japanese N5, 1000 basic vocabulary, and N5, as you probably know, is the lowest level, so I'm still a baby in this, and I really, really, really love this book. It has one of those little red sheets that I see on Instagram all the time, so you can kind of like hide the words and like kind of test yourself. And yeah, so I've been slowly working towards this. There is like 50 to 80 words per like chapter, so I don't rush myself because I want to use these words well. And for kanji, I went with the Genki Plus Kanji Look and Learn. It's just the workbook, not the textbook, because in this book, a lot of these kanji pop up, and they're also in other books too. So I said I don't really need to buy the like big white textbook. I can just use the workbook for the practice and lists and little activities that they have in here. So I like that. Now I will go into my grammar. First, I'm using Genki. I know that people don't really like this book, but I have the PDF, and I also don't study it by myself. I use this YouTuber's videos. This is Tokini Andy. He does like live streams of going through Genki chapters and teaching you. And he then edits those live streams and puts them on YouTube. So it's a wonderful free resource for Genki. And I also have, this is that previously mentioned Japanese book in Korean. It's 다락관 일본어 잘하고 싶을 때 다락관 독학 첫걸음. Oh, wow. So it's just Japanese. It says JLPT N5. So it's pretty much basic grammar. And then for my review, I use the Seoul Matome N5 book. I say this is my review book because this is kanji, vocabulary, grammar, reading, and listening in one book. This book is very special to me because I bought it in Japan. So I actually kept the little receipt because it's all in Japanese, and it was really exciting. Now for reading, I have 3 books that I'm slowly going through. But first, I want to share this really great and free resource with you guys. So this website is called Tadoku Supporters, and basically it is a website where you can read free graded readers. I am not being supported to say this in any way. Like, they don't know about me. I'm just spreading the word because I think this is wonderful. These are really, really basic Japanese graded readers. If you look at one of the books, they have the title, and then they have this little color circle, and that is the level. So it seems like most of their books, a lot of their books are level 0. This means that you can read them now. As soon as you start learning Japanese, you can read these books. They're super, super, super simple, really wonderful. And they're completely free to read. I love it. They go up to level 5. They have one level 5 book. I don't know how these correspond with like the JLPT levels because I don't really grade myself based on that. But yeah, so let's just look at one that I've read. This is Imashita, and it's a level 0. I've read it And so you click it, there's a description. It looks scary because it's a lot of Japanese, but it's fine. Click read for free, and then it opens a PDF that you can click through. Okay, so it's like Ohayo, tomodachi wa doko, like this, and you can also listen to someone reading it for you. You can download the PDF, you can download it to print, and you can download the MP3. These are all free. Like, why wouldn't we not want free Japanese graded readers? So I've been reading those. I'm currently working my way through all of the level 0 ones. I'm really enjoying them. They're really cute, and I typically read them 3 or 4 times until I can read it smoothly and like kind of register the vocab. I also have this Dara Kwon graded reader. It's Korean. This was recommended to me by my friend Rose. She has one. And so they basically give you a little short story or poem, and then they give you a Korean translation, they give you vocabulary, a little bit of grammar notes, and then there's little activities, I think. Yeah, there's little activities you can do. Another graded reader that I have, I got the recommendation from Ali from Ari no Yume on Instagram. I'm sorry if I said that wrong. 10分때読めるを話 first grade. So this is also just little short stories. I really enjoy this. It's a little harder, so I actually haven't started them yet because I'm a little bit scared of them. I bought this one secondhand on Aladdin because there was no like wait time for the international shipping. I think I spent like 5,000 won, which is like $6 Canadian. And yeah, so I bought this, and it's kind of my goal for the summer after I read more of the free graded readers online. And then lastly, I went to the Gwangwamun Gyobo, which is like the big flagship store, and I saw this manga, which is the Yatsubato, and it's I'm sure you've seen it online on Instagram. It's about this little girl who's going with people, her family or whatever, and it's just like little snippets of her life. And I think every chapter deals with a certain theme, like friends, school, blah blah blah. I haven't started reading it yet because like I said, I'm still trying to work my way through the free graded readers, but I got it for a really good price, so I bought it, and eventually I will use it. So thank you for watching. I'm planning on making some more Japanese related videos, like studying with me and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm gonna go to a cafe with Jess. We both filmed, and we're gonna edit together and drink a yummy coffee. It's lovely weather today. It was plain. Okay, bye bye.